Hello, 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 guys. We were running a tad bit behind, but we are here. We are super excited to come before you at this time, myself, Shadana, and Bianca, to say, woman, it is time to rise. And like I said earlier, again, right? Because life is evolution, it's always evolving. So we should always be evolving with life. We should always be in tandem, in proper alignment with life, and not allow life to be behind us. So, woman, now I'm speaking to the specific woman. Arise, like stand in your brilliance. You see my shirt, or maybe you can't see it, but it says brilliant. The
Come on
only
now.
be I'll be is
Oh, yeah.
brilliant. And so we shouldn't be walking around calling each other the other B name, but brilliant. And so it's time to be bold, be free, and be you. And so I had a conversation with my lovely sisters here. You know, I call us the coaches, colleagues, if you will, right? Because we all coach in some of the same vein, but our core areas is to help people awaken and be free in every area of their lives. So we wanted to come to you together. Why? Because we can do more together than we can do apart. Time out for the crab in a barrel mentality. Literally, time out for that. It's over. Forget a time out. Just be over with it. And so we decided to come together and have this time to motivate you, right? To not just inspire you, but motivate you to the point of execution today, right? I'm all about making the necessary steps that are needed today so that we can begin to build on our tomorrow, our next year, and the years after that. I always ask people, what does 2030 look like to you? So I ask you that tonight. It's only 9 years away. And so what does 2030 look like to you? And so you guys know me. I'm Natasha Mayo, the execution strategist. I help people go from good to great because why? Better is always available. And so I want to give my lovely sisters, my coaching colleagues, an opportunity to introduce themselves. It's their first time on my platform, and I want you guys to get to know them. I want you to go and follow them. But I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started with Woman Arise. So, B, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. As you can tell, we're all fired up because this is a topic that's very passionate to all of us. And we are all coming from different walks of life to do this. But I will say I am Bianca Brown, or you can call me Coach B. I work primarily in branding, sometimes visual branding, but honestly, my true desire is to see the beauty that God has put in you come out and to unleash that. But we know it takes work to unleash that. So here, along with the execution strategist, you have the branding coach pushing you and priming you to unleash, unlock, and become everything God has called you to be. So I'm excited to be here.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Well, thank you so much. Wow. I'm just lost for words. Thank you so much, first of all, Natasha, just for being open. I know that's going to be a part of the conversation that will help many other women. I can't wait to talk about it because you're open. We're here. I am Shadana Marie, also known as the voice that motivates. Some say something like a sonic boom, helping you to break forth into your destiny. Life coach by purpose, image consultant by trade, helping individuals build the inside and the outward man to operate in their purpose, whether that's personally in life, or business or relationship, whatever it is. These are life skills that we're going to be able to share today to help people unlock their potential. But what we're saying today is, woman, whoa,
Yes.
now, wait a minute.
Come on.
You're brilliant. Where are you? It is time to arise. And so we really have come in this place, as I shared earlier, 3 different people, 3 different backgrounds, 3 different personalities, but one common purpose, which is to not just get you, like the Tasha said, not just motivated, but actually moving, not just inspired, but implementing. And so we look forward to the conversation today. Thank you again.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, guys, get excited, get ready, get your pen and paper. I often say, don't just come on these lives and just listen. Take notes, do a list so that you can begin to execute immediately. There's no way that you will be able to store all of the information, all of the ahas in your brain. So take notes, write it down, so that you're not only able to retain, then you can also sustain because you have the notes. You don't have to worry about, oh, what did Shadonna say? Or what did Bianca say? What did Tatasha say? Because you can go back to your notes and refer to exactly what we said specifically for you. Now, if you guys would just take a moment, one, to share it with at least one sister. I said at least. Not only one, but at least one sister that needs to arise. Guess what? That's all of us. Because as I said, good is never good enough. It is time that we all arise in our next dimension of living. We should not just be surviving, but rather thriving in every area of our lives. Why? Because we can. Simply because we can. I also want to take a moment to ask you guys to allow StreamYard to post your comments. And then that way we can see your comments come through and even highlight them so that we can answer your questions at the end of the broadcast. So take a moment to allow StreamYard to share your comments. And so I want to first talk about be free. Freedom is everything. Like, be free from the inside out. Too often we go about life giving disclaimers. Well, I do this because of that, right? No more disclaimers, guys. From this moment forward, no more disclaimers. God created you to be great. So be great. Certainly, there are opportunities for all of us to grow and to develop in and to stretch in. But be great in who God created you to be. We don't need a carbon copy of anybody else. God created you to be amazing. And so I want you to begin to stand in that amazingness unapologetically. Listen, the world needs you. The world needs your voice. The world needs your influence. The world needs your example. So wherever you are, whatever it is that you have been through in life, so what? So what? That's old news. It's now history. It has happened. What's important is what's happening now.
Yes.
And so you can begin to grow and develop. And here's the thing, refine your life, right? It's not a redo, it's a refining. So let's begin to refine who we are in every area of our life so that we can be free, unashamed of anything. Do you know that the things that you've gone through in life was not just about you? But it was also for the people that are coming behind you, the people that you influence and don't even know it. Some of you don't even realize the influence that you have in other people's lives. But when you begin to do a thing and you see other people doing that same thing because you did it, that's influence. And so the more you are free, the more other people will be free alongside you. So let's unpack freedom a bit, guys. Bianca, I want you to share, and also you, Shadonna, share about your own journey about being free, like getting free in certain areas. Believe it or not, guys, I used to be petrified of public speaking. I know it's a surprise, but I was petrified of public speaking. Why? Because of what people would say. Guess what? Now I don't give a care. I have something to say from thus says the Lord, and for those that have an ear to hear, will hear it. So be free. So Shadonna, I want to start with you. One of your be free moments.
Oh,
one of your be free moments. I know you have multiple.
Well, you tap right into there. I know there are so many people, women, and I want to be relatable today. And that's just being an open book. Oftentimes we can't be an open book because we're not honest with ourselves. And like you said, we are in a time that's calling for who we are individually now. not tomorrow. And so oftentimes that opinion, not of just of what people think about us, but what we think about ourselves. And the moments that we're in are, they're not liberating, since we're talking about free. And so oftentimes there are places that we are ready for, that we think that we've been prepared for, but oftentimes we don't hold that personal accountability that we are our own holdups to being free. So just sharing that moment is, I had to go through many seasons, and by seasons, I would say probably a 5-year period.
Yeah.
Personal deliverance after deliverance after deliverance, where I had to stop letting people's opinion of me or perception of me. As we know, perception is, it seems like it's one thing, but oftentimes we have been judged by appearance. We've been judged by how we speak. We've been judged how we dress. Look at me, I got a whole arm out today.
Come on here, shoulder.
Come on, shoulder. And I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to hide anymore in the fear of how people judge me or reject me. And so that's a process that I know that is relatable for a lot of individuals. They want to be in a place, but we keep throwing the court into someone else's responsibility. They may have inflicted the pain, but the healing is our personal responsibility. If we continue to give people these type of powers, we will not just stumble, we will never just be. And so developing this person has been essential to living. It has been essential to my peace. And so just being able to say that, hey, I have not always been bold. In fact, I prefer not to be bold. That is my personal truth. But every time I suffocate who I am, I begin to die on the inside. So I know many women may feel the rejection that's out there for being individually who they are, in their characteristics, how they respond to things, how they don't respond to things like other individuals. But every time you do not address some of those development things that we have to go through, we're suffocating a part of us that's essentially important in order for us to become who that person is. So I just had to take some time, if I can be honest, on working on me, to the point that now that I am not perfect, but I am so free that I'm not really moved.
Yeah.
Everybody can't respond that way. I just don't cry about a whole lot of things. It's not because I do not care. I realized that it was killing me. Not only just internally, it was killing my health. It was killing my productivity. It was killing everything about me. And so when I looked in the mirror, I could no longer give people the power to forgive me a position that I have been purposeful in my own individual power to become. So it was all about looking in the mirror and day after day, speaking to that mirror to self, taking the time to self-development through reading, through worship, through mentorship, through even sisterhoods, of creating relationships that I may have been afraid to connect with before. Oh, if somebody said a little bit later, we would never be here. I had to be vulnerable. I reached out to B. I said, I don't really know Natasha.
Yeah.
And I had to be open enough to understand that you don't have to necessarily have everything in common with individuals to be able to purposely connect with them. And so I couldn't be intimidated that a sister have her own mic.
Yes.
They have to be on our last episode to catch him. You cannot be intimidated that this sister is built in her own individual spiritual and physical strength. If I had not took the time over the last 5 years to become who I am, I wouldn't have been able to be humble enough to sit on a platform like this and understand that if I am the biggest one in my circle, then my circle is too small.
Come on. Say that again.
So I know I said a whole lot about in there, but there is a personal responsibility that we have to walk away from this place that, yes, it happened. We're not acknowledging or saying that it was not real, but it's just like the enemy with the bullhorn. It is a shadow. It's there, but it ain't bigger than you. And so having that self accountability to myself to take the own personal development is why I have become who I am. So I look forward to celebrating freedom with everyone today.
I love that. I love it. And one of the things you said is stop suffocating you. Like so many people suffocate themselves. So many people shrink back because they think I am not enough for whatever reason. You are more than enough. Stop suffocating you. God created each and every one of us very different. In fact, he said, I've given each one the measure of faith.
That's good.
He didn't copy anybody's faith. He gave each one of us the measure of faith. And so my question to you is, what are you doing with your measure?
Preach.
What are you doing with your measure? And so, guys, we want you to comment. We want you to share. You know, I am all about real-time breakthrough. And so I want you guys to share your aha moments. I want you guys to share your moments that connect, right? And post that in the comments so that we can highlight them. And then guess what? Even talk about those specifically. So what are you doing with your measure? It's a question, guys. So I'm passing the ball to you, B.
Listen, I'm doing everything I can not to get up out of this chair and start running. Because when you said stop suffocating yourself, my God, some of us sacrifice ourselves on the altar because we're scared of what people think.
Yes.
And the Lord had to really take me, going back to the question you even asked about some of the things that we've gone through, that we have to push through, even as a young child. You see, the enemy does not play fair. He will meet you as a young person and try to degrade you and try to give you life. The enemy is the accuser of the brethren. He will tell you that you are not enough. He will tell you you're not good enough. And I can remember even as a young child with no kind of personality, just being told you're not good enough, not by family, but by peers. You're not good enough. You're not this, you're not that, and being bullied. And so the Lord had to really take me on this process of even coming out of my shell, because some of us are staying within our shell because that is our survival mechanism. If I stay in my shell, nothing else will come into contact with me. If I stay in my shell, I'm not going to have to worry about being rejected or disappointed or frustrated or being let down. But the Lord is definitely calling us to come out. And the Lord really began to work with me and say, Bianca, I have something for you to say. And so what I had to know is that what God wanted me to do had to override the fear of me. They had to override the fear of rejection, had to override the fear of being frustrated at when things didn't go my way. Sometimes our freedom is in that thing that God wants you to, that God has called you to do, not necessarily the fear itself. Sometimes fear doesn't leave until you start operating in your purpose.
Come on.
As you make the steps, this is why the steps of the Lord are ordered. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, because he knows as you make those steps, you're walking out of the dark places and the spaces that you've been in. And so in order to get to this next place and this next space in our lives where we are truly free, we have to begin to walk in the direction of our freedom. And that is really the journey that God began to take me on, even coming out of bullying, even coming out of my divorce, even coming out of just losing all of my friends at one time. The Lord had to put me in that space to know that his purpose was greater than my fear. Therefore, I could walk in it divinely without holding back, without getting frustrated, and without getting annoyed with the process, because it is truly a process to be free. And you don't get a lot of hand claps when you're becoming free, because sometimes you're the first person in your family to be free. And everybody's not going to like that, but you're breaking the mold. You're breaking what people tell you you should be. You're breaking the situation for your family. That's why it's been so hard. But this is a season where we can't look at other people to clap for us.
Come on.
We're walking our freedom for ourselves. So, y'all, I'm doing my best to not run.
Run. Yeah, no, I love that. And you said that fear does not leave until you start operating, moving in your purpose. And so if you're sitting at home, if you are loaded up with all of these decisions, all of this vision, and waiting on the perfect time will never come. It's in your movement that growth and development happens, right? When God told Abraham he needed to leave his family, he didn't begin to prosper until he left, when he came from among his people. The same is so when he had to sacrifice his son. when God told him to sacrifice his son. And out of his obedience, he was doing that. But if he would have stayed on the sidelines, he would have never entered into the promise. He would have never realized that he wouldn't have had to sacrifice his son. And so it's in the movement, it's in the going that we grow. You also talked about the enemy is the accuser of the brethren. And here is where collaboration comes together. One can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000, and on and on and on and on. And so when you're collaborating with like-minded individuals, there is absolutely nothing that can stop you. When you're in a position where you can be vulnerable and open, and I love how you shared that, Shadonna. B, I don't know her. That's the reality of it, right? You can have somebody to say, no, let's consider what this can be, and then go from there.
Natasha, I think that's a good point to weigh in, because that's also how development comes about, is to have those individuals. And you know what B said, that is, you don't have a lot of people clapping, but you have that one or two people, because you don't need a whole lot. I say if you have 10 coaches or 10 mentors, you have 10 spirits. So if you can find that one individual or two individuals that you can say something to respectfully, that you have an area of growth. Because I was vulnerable, was I not, B? An area of growth. I said, I want to be able to go into relationships without battles. I want to be able to go into relationships with some sort of trust that I won't be stabbed in the back because of who I am or my personality. I do not want to enter relationships where I have to explain who I am so that you'll feel better about yourself. Well, let's talk about this.
Come on.
Maybe later on. But I needed to have and be in a very short time. I've been able to openly say, I want to be a little bit more open. But I also want to be honest in those that are I'm going into a relationship is, I don't necessarily need to tell you everywhere that I've been, but I may be on the back fence a little bit. Okay. It's not that we don't have a right to protect ourselves, because the Bible tells us, protect your heart. Issues flow from there. Okay. Because not everybody have the right intentions. All right. And you have to be careful, especially when you give out a whole lot. That sometimes you give out so much, we're expecting individuals to give back to us that we gave out, but they don't have the capacity to build us back.
Come on.
So I can't put applications out, but if I could put applications out, I would ask some of the people, are you okay with you? Yeah. Because if you're okay with me at a certain level, then you'll be ready for me to come into your life. And so when we enter relationships, we have to understand once again that there's a humility that you have to have, a surrendering that allows individuals to just come as they are. See, if I'm holding on to all of this, I won't be able to hold on to the piece of you that you may be able to bring to the table to help me. And Absolutely. So I had to come down a moment from blocking, from protecting. It's not a terrible place. It depends on how you deal with it. It's not a terrible place. So I'm very sensitive. I watch my words. I watch my heart. I look at the content before I say something. And I'm vulnerable at the same time to say, I want to be able to. But girl, let me tell you. And so there's nothing wrong with having those individuals, the right person to say, this is where I'm at. Now, it's not an indication that you're any smaller because you say you're not there. Yeah, absolutely. Some of these sisters are so strong, taking the slaps and the blows like we were built to do. You know, because we're birthers. So we are very strong when it comes to things that come to oppose us. But sometimes we're either vulnerable with the wrong people, or we stop being vulnerable enough to get the help that we need. And so being in a collaborating circle like that has allowed me to yet get another development under myself. There was nothing wrong with, again, they say that something is wrong with you because you choose to be this individual. But again, I want to be able to develop relationships that I don't have to apologize, because, baby, we're all great. We were never meant to just be great by ourselves. God is great. We said it the other day, and that's how we got here in an open conversation. We did not study our Bibles for 10 hours and then come together and start collaborating. Simply just said, this is where I'm at. And understanding our unique individual purposeful power that God has given us, we understand that we cannot be everything to everybody, but collectively together, we can become stronger to get to the purpose and destination that we need to be. So I hope that people that are listening is understanding that you don't have to always be strong.
Yeah.
Because if you're lying to yourself, then that's another, we don't have time to keep dealing with the same issues.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you do have to have those people that just say, my life is not perfect right now. And to know that if that's the right person for you, they're not going to judge you anyway.
Come on.
You can still come and minister to
right.
who you need to exactly. Have to always put a guard up that someone's going to take your vulnerability or that weakness that you have and use it against you. And so again, I'm really grateful for not only the personal growth that God has allowed me to be a part of, but also watching my sisters grow. Because from here, we only continue to grow. What you put in is what you get out. We forget that. We stop giving to other individuals and then we say, why am I suffocating? Because the one thing that was giving you life, you stopped doing because it was a part of your purpose. It's a part of your design. Who killed you? Who took away that confidence that you had for yourself? But we're here to say today, woman, arise. There are people who authentically believe in you and don't want anything from you. I don't want your money. I don't want your clothes, but honey, I don't want your man. I'm trying to get what I want. Okay? There are people who are authentically on this earth who are simply trying to get something to you because it's going to be a blessing to their own personal lives.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good. And you know what I constantly hear in that is wise counsel. Like you must have wise counsel around you. And if you don't, then you need to find it, right? One of the things that I discussed, during our discussion is once you reach a certain area, right? You look around and there's nobody that really understands the language that you're talking now. And so not only that you're talking, but that you're living, that you're in. And so you have to seek out those that understand, those that don't need a dictionary, those don't need to have disclaimers to understand what it is that you're saying and or what it is that you're growing through. I don't like just going through anything. I like to grow through everything. And so where I am right now, even in reaching out to these ladies, is completely different than who I used to be. When I was married, my ex-husband was very friendly, and you could be at the other end of the parking lot and he would wave you down and yell your name. And I would be like, you don't take all of that. If they're not in your immediate space, say hi later, right? But the Bible says that he who wants friends shows himself friendly.
That's good.
Friendly. And so when you are free in who you are and who God has called you to be friendly in every area, right? Not just in relationships, but in business, in your marriage. Let's talk about it, right? In church. Sitting next to somebody that doesn't, smell so well. Be friendly. Because here's the thing. You reap what you sow. And guess what? Sometimes it don't always come back to you. It can come back to your children. It can come back to your relationships. It can come back to people that matter in your life. So be mindful of the seeds that you sow. Whatever you want, you should be sowing that, right? Whatever you want, you should be sowing that. And so if you're in a situation where you feel like I'm alone, I'm lonely, well, when is the last time you've reached out to someone or something? When is the last time you put yourself in different situations, uncomfortable situations? We have to begin to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Literally. And so show yourself friendly in every area of your life. It doesn't make sense for us to ask God for things, the desires of our heart, and then we don't show up and do the thing. That's faith without works. It's automatically dead. And so we got to make sure that we're aligning our faith and our actions so that we can get the manifestation of the things that we want.
That's good. Listen, if I don't know, B, I'm gonna have to pass you the mic on this one, but I was actually thinking about that today. So many times we pray for help and then we reject the help.
Yes, come on.
The help.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, again, when someone's telling their story of why they have rejected or they don't talk to that individual anymore, they stop talking with or work with that individual, they always have something to say about that individual. And that may be the true scenario. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, why am I this way? Why have I rejected that sister? What did she do to me?
Yeah.
Did she wear some lipstick that looked good, better on her than it may have looked on me?
Yeah.
Did she say a big word that I could not pronounce? Was her stilettos a little bit higher than mine? All of these things that the world see as petty, but it's really personal. So we have to be careful that sometimes we don't reject the help that has been sent to us or start disrespecting or mistreating the help that has been sent. So I would love to hear your perspective on that.
Okay, I'm hearing two things as you all are talking. One, God is saying your provision is in your courage. And so a lot of times when God is bringing us who we need and what we need, sometimes we're going to have to do something a little bit differently in order to receive the help that we've been praying for. Because normally when we're praying for something, we're praying for it in a way, in a space that we could see and understand it. That I want you to bring it to me, God. I want you to bring the person to me, God. I want you to bring the opportunity to me, God. I want the sisterhood, but God, I don't want to come out of my zone to reach it. I don't want to get uncomfortable. And also a lot of times the enemy has already given us a good reason to stay in our bubble. The enemy has already given us a good reason to not accept and to not reach out. Now, see, what you did, even with the example you was giving, that was you growing. That was you opening yourself. That was you saying, I don't know. What I used to do is I used to was shut down. But what God is calling me to do in this moment is walk in the courage to open up again. And it's always something when you feel the hand of the Lord tugging on you to walk into courage and to walk into freedom. Your freedom is in your courage to do. Your freedom is in your courage to go out and do things and be around people that you've never been around before. But it's going to take you noticing, and it takes us. I promise you, I've been in this situation. I did the wrong thing and I did the right thing. But it was the blessing was in me realizing what I did and the problems that I had with my own self and the problems that I had not forgiven with people in my past, the issues and the bullies that I did not forgive, even the bully within inside of myself that I did not forgive. Sometimes the bully within you is telling you not to do something because the bully in you is trying to stop you from getting rejected. Because the bully in you don't feel like you enough for the person. The bully in you don't feel like you enough to walk into that room, to take that opportunity, to do that thing. I had someone to email me this week, a sweet young lady, and she said, I'm sorry, I'm so grateful to meet you, but I thought Brandon was for somebody who was there. So she had rejected herself out of showing up because she didn't realize that she was enough where she was already. So sometimes God really wants to pull us out and pull us out of our shell. And so when it's time to connect with somebody, I also heard you say wisdom, Coach Natasha, using wisdom on how to get there. Because freedom, the way to stay in freedom and to continue to cover your freedom is to move in freedom with wisdom.
Come on.
And so we got to move with wisdom. And what you did was wise. You said, okay, God, I'm looking at this option. Just like me, I look at different opportunities. I look at different connections and I ask the Lord, what is this for? Why is this that? And sometimes he'll just say, proceed to the root. I'm not telling you yet until you
Come on.
And so sometimes we just have to give the benefit of the doubt and know that it is not the person that I always have to trust. If God told me to go there, then I was trusting him. So even if I get let down in this space, I have to know that God can pick me back up. I have to know I'm operating in faith. I'm not operating based off of my situation, what I've been through in my past, my shadows, the things that roar at me that have no bite. I'm moving and operating in the purpose of the Holy Ghost. And even if I'm coming out of my shell because other people need to see someone who will do it, that's enough for me to go alone.
Yeah. That's enough to go alone. I love that. And what comes to mind with me is first take. You know, we're so into selfies, right? We take 10,000 selfies to get the perfect picture. But God said the first take. When he created you, it was the first take. He didn't have to create 10,000s of you. He said the first take is enough.
Help us, sis.
It's enough.
Help
and
me.
So wherever you are right now, I don't give a care where you are. Wherever you are right now, it's enough. You still have air in your lungs. You still have a vision in your heart.
Yes.
Move today.
Yes.
You are enough. And guess what? I also hear unwise counsel. The people that tell you that's too much. You don't have to do all that. It don't take all of that. The people that tells you entrepreneurship is for a specific group of people. That's unwise counsel. Get away from them quickly. Because the very thought of entrepreneurship, the very thought of doing something different is enough. Is enough. All you have to do is move on the thought. So you have wise counsel on one side and then unwise counsel on another. Choose this day which one you're going to follow. Jesus. Which one are you going to follow? Because guess what? Unwise counsel has been hanging with you for years. How is it working for you? Woo. How is it working for you?
You make me think about a statement that came to me today, that I'm not here to compete, I'm here to complete.
Come on.
When you say, how's that working for you? Talking along the lines of rejection and fear and talking about overcoming those things. It's oftentimes that counsel that has been put in your position. Oftentimes we won't connect with those kind of people.
Yeah.
Because of that unwise counsel, whether it was something that was spoken to us. I don't know who's out there that's ever been told you won't make it without them, whether it was through a relationship or a business partner. And sometimes they don't even say it. They just act like it. I'm not going to show up to your event. You know, I'm going to just like this post. I'm not going to love it. I'm not going to say anything, you know?
Yeah.
But I also had to learn also that we talked about a little bit earlier is that these are the same people who do not have the capacity to feel you anyway. And oftentimes because we have not stepped into our developing capacity, which happens day after day as we do the very opposite of fear, which is faith, which is actually moving. You know, that's how you overcome fear. You don't overcome fear with just by prayer.
Come on.
Faith is an action. It's something that you do. And so we have to keep that in mind, that oftentimes that we are connected with people who are really secretly in competition with you.
Yeah.
We have to take in mind that also that we have to understand that we are our own biggest competition.
Yes.
You are out there every day. You should be competing about yourself. You say, be bold, be you, be brave, be out there, be free. You know, take on a big bun.
Come on.
I've never done a big giant bun the other day I did 2 ponytails. Where this come from? I'm about to be 45 years old.
Yeah.
Because I'm allowing once again for me to overcome my fear. I have to do the actions of this is how God created me. So in order for me to be able, for God to be able to show the creative side of me, I have to just be. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to operate in it. Because again, the moment I stop being myself, those who have assigned to me can't find me.
Come on.
You will wake up, you know, you said 9 years from now. In 9 years, I'll be 54 years old.
Come on.
So at 54 years old, I'll be in my bed, bitter and mad, and say, God, where are you? And I once prayed that prayer, since we're making it personal.
Yeah.
I have a very intuitive spirit. So even when I don't want to hear, I don't want to feel other people's emotions, I can't stop, because that's the way God created me to be. So sometimes it's hard for me to connect with people because of those situations and issues. I can hear you. I can feel you. It's hard to connect with you. But he didn't give it as a curse. He gave it as a blessing to be relatable. So that I understand this, a lot of times we go through stuff in life that really wasn't for us. It was so that we'll be able to be relatable to help other individuals. And so I really thank God for the opportunity to be able to just sit under the umbrella of development.
Come on.
It enables me to do that, to understand that my sister, the right sister, not the perfect sister, not the sister that's higher or below, but just that sister. I am not you.
Correct.
I cannot do you. I cannot talk like you. I cannot dress like you. I must be who God. I got one life to live. Come on, let me live it. So if I'm constantly throwing out that negative energy to other people, sister, you said, if I'm throwing that out, that's what I'm eating. I gotta live off of that one day.
Yes.
So instead, I asked God one day, because I have this intuitive spirit, God, please, I don't want to feel this anymore. It's too much to bear myself and my imperfections plus theirs too. And then one day I asked God, how did I get here? He said, what if you hadn't blocked the spirit and the gift and the purpose that I gave you? You would have known that was what that person was up to. I shut it out. So there's so many things that we're doing that we're self-inflicting onto ourselves, because yes, it hurts. Growth hurts. Yeah. Surgery hurts. Refining the diamond hurts. But the end result is every day as you buff yourself. One of the most beautiful things I love absolutely is when a sister sends me that one paragraph, not that one page, because I'm a lazy reader, and I try to tell my friends, I don't want to hear your testimony, but because I got a lot going on here. So take the time to sometimes to actually learn the individuals you're connecting to in a relationship.
Yes.
A whole nother level. So that is being funny. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know that she had a gift like that. That sometimes it's overbearing to keep hearing all of this and seeing all of this. Yeah. But if you learn that individual, you'll learn how to not take it personal. But you'll also develop not just with the relationship with that person, but every relationship that you come in contact both personally and professionally. We got to be free.
Yeah.
Rise.
Absolutely. We're talking about being free, guys. Some of you guys I see are just coming in. It's about being free from the inside out. And here's the thing. It's at multiple levels, right? I coach peak performers. And oftentimes the consistent thing that I hear is, I thought that I should already be over this. I thought that I should already finish this piece. You did back there. You're now at another dimension. And so you have to complete it here, right? And so it's about being free in every area of your life and at every dimension of your life. Now, how does that happen? Preparation, right? Right now, I'm on day 30 of my 30-day detox. And the detox is all about discipline. And so I entered in on July 5th, the day after the 4th of July, because I knew that God was calling me to a new dimension, right? Oftentimes when they get promoted in life, they always say, oh, every new level, there's a new devil. It's not. Sometimes you're the devil because you didn't discipline yourself for that new level. And so that's where the preparation comes from.
That just hit me.
And that's where I am now, is discipling my discipline. So then when I get to that next level, that next dimension that God is calling to me, I'm not like a fish out of water. I have discipled my soul. I've discipled my hearing. I've discipled what I let in my ear gate and my eye gate. Get there, I am settled. I am positioned and I am ready. And so you have to prepare for where you want to go by making decisions, by discipling your discipline, right? And it comes in many different ways. Oftentimes we eat all of our emotions, happy, sad, mad, or glad. So you can always start with your nutrition to see where the discipline is off at, right? Because it's always led by an emotion. And if you take a moment just to step back and say, why am I eating this? Why have I had this same thing 3 days in a row? Why is it now controlling me? Coffee used to control me. Listen, I still love me a good cup of coffee. But when it started controlling me, I said, wait a minute. I don't want anything controlling me. And so I began to disciple that area of my life. I love coffee so much, I would have it as a nightcap.
Now, wait a minute. I'm about to put you on mute, sis. Don't talk about my coffee friend. But isn't that what it's like, you guys, when it starts getting uncomfortable?
Come on.
Because I
want to put it on mute. I love it. Yeah. I like coffee so much, I would drink it as a nightcap. It didn't keep me up. I enjoyed the taste. I enjoyed the soothing feeling that was coming down my throat, the warmth, all of that. And so I was having 3 cups a day. And so I said, no, I have to disciple that. I have to pull that back in. Why? Because if coffee can control me, what else can control me? And so I had to dial that back, and now to just 1 cup of coffee. But even in that 1 cup, I would be working out, and I'm like, as soon as this workout is over, I'm going to give me a cup. No. We're going to disciple that.
And so it's relate to you right there. Because I'm there.
Yeah.
Coffee used to have control over me. Now I drink coffee whenever I want, as much coffee as I got, but it doesn't have control over me. Because what did I do? I took the time to discipline myself. So there was not just days, but weeks I didn't have any coffee. Because I realized that I could not function without you are what you eat. So if you're constantly feeding yourself caffeine, then guess what? You're not going to be, your body is all of a sudden going to start to feel withdrawals.
Yeah.
So oftentimes that's the same thing relatable in life. What are you eating?
Yeah.
That you have been depending on someone's opinion, or someone's lack of opinion, the lack of opinion or feeling that you have for yourself. All of these things, you are a result of what you're eating. So now I live this lifestyle where I actually add protein. Come on, Faith. That's what faith is, building muscle. I've graduated from the place that I used to be where I did not have control. So I couldn't be able to be, I didn't have discipline in certain relationships. So as soon as I saw something that made me feel weird, I was gone. You got blocked, baby. Okay, because I felt like I had to control you. But now I can allow you to be present because now I have disciplined myself, that I have graduated so much so that now I understand that I am what I put in, not what you put in.
Yeah.
So now I put protein in my coffee to build that muscle. Okay, come on, shoulder.
I love it.
Build that muscle to be able to help and build someone else. What muscle or what lack of nutrition have we not put in ourselves to have discipline and development? Come on, let's be free.
Amen.
So instead of me rejecting and shutting that sister down because I like coffee, I like coffee. We were having a conversation the other night, and I was like, "Oh, I'm drinking coffee." She's like, "Me too. I'm drinking coffee. We're drinking it." But understanding that there will be people who apply pressure. So if you are right there, we're using coffee as a real life scenario to make it relatable to your life. If there's something that you have not been able to live without it's because you have had an identity crisis. Come on, B.
Yeah. Listen, wait. Y'all still about to get out of my chair and run. It sounds like when you start saying, I'm discipling that. I'm discipling those thoughts. And how many times do we really sit down and try to disciple the thoughts? And even when we're around people who are doing the exact same thing that God wants to pull us out of, how many times do we sit there and say, okay, am I doing this because it's something I like, or am I doing this because it's just a tradition? Or it's just something that we do? Am I grabbing the perspective of another? Because even when we're talking about feeding ourselves and feeding our spiritual man and feeding our mind, are we feeding our mind perspectives that are not even our own?
Yeah.
Are we feeding our mind's perspectives that belong to the world or to someone else? To someone who's not even going the same route or the same place that we're going to? The Lord has been saying, he keeps on saying, he keeps on highlighting grasshoppers. I know that's crazy and out the way, but I'm like, why? And then he pushed me back. He said, think about the children of Israel. Mm-hmm. They saw themselves as grasshoppers. And then they went throughout the land and spread the report about seeing themselves a certain way. Therefore, they operated in that way. Yeah. It was the whole family, all 12 tribes operated in a certain dimension and a certain way because of the report of other people. And we cannot be free and get out of bondage without connecting our faith and without connecting the perspective of God. If he says you can do something, I need you to feed your body what you can do according to Holy Spirit, because everything else can be sinking sand. But what God says about you can actually push you into the next dimension of your life. It can push you into that freedom that you've been praying about. But sometimes we're trying to eat different things. We're trying to eat a diet that's not conducive to where he wants to take us.
Come on, that part right there, B. Trying to eat a diet that's not conducive to where he is taking us. And that just reminds me, the body that you're in, can it keep up with the gift?
Woo!
Can it keep up
Listen.
with the gift that God is calling you to?
You just
The
hit
body
me.
that you're in, can it keep up with the gift? Right? And so it's, how are you seeing yourself? You said that, B. How are you seeing yourself? Oftentimes we see ourselves through learned behavior. What mama, what daddy, what grandma, whomever raised us, we see ourselves through their lens. I want to challenge you today to begin to see yourself through God's lens. One of my prayers is that God, you continue to show me and my children and my friends, those that are connected to me, you continue to show us through your vantage point. What do we look like through your eyesight? Help us to become who you've called us to be, who you've created us to be before the foundation of the world, right? And that all came from my son. He's 28 years old. He has special needs. And I was interceding for him. And in that intercession, I said, God, show him not only healed, but walking in divine health. And I said, ooh, that's good. Now let me take some of that for myself, right? And so when you begin to intercede and pray, not just for you, but for others, God will begin to remind you, pray that for yourself too. How are you seeing yourself? See yourself as the head and not the tail. That's what God said. See yourself in abundance. See yourself being the lender, not the borrower. And here's the thing. Don't you dare minimize lending to just money, but your time, your talent is a lender. Us being on here tonight, we are lending ourselves. We are lending our journeys. We are lending our vulnerability to you to help you be better in every area of your life. So see yourself as God sees you. Begin to seek out the promises of God. You guys are probably watching us on your smartphone. Pick it up once we're done. Google the promises of God and then begin to declare them over your life every single day. Just like you brush your teeth and you take a bath, I want you to begin to declare God's promises over your life every single day. I am the righteousness of God. Yes. I am God's masterpiece. I am the apple of God's eye, and believe it. Guess what? You may not believe it initially. So what? So what? Look yourself in the mirror, eyeball to eyeball, and tell yourself, I am enough.
Yes, I am enough.
Every day I want you to do that. Another thing I want you guys to do is begin to declare your day and night. Stop waiting for the day to come to declare your day. Declare your day at night. Make the day rise to you and you stop rising to the day. Declare your day so that if something shows up out of alignment of what you said, send it back from whence it came. I did not invite you. You're not welcome here. And remind the day, the atmosphere, the universe is, everybody's into now. All of what you want is all subject to God. And guess what? He gave you dominion over it.
Yes.
Act like it.
Your words create your world. And if you want to develop and go to the next level, you have to spend time with it. Sometimes, maybe that bae, that boo, whoever that special intimate one you want in your life, oftentimes we want to take our relationships to the next level. But have you sat and spent time? And so when you spend time with what's been said about you, then, you just wake up all of a sudden one day and you actually believe it.
Come on.
You can only become when you start believing.
Yeah.
According to your faith, be it unto you.
According to your faith. Like, don't run over that, Shadonna. According to your faith. A lot of times people look at everybody else and like, why they get that? Why they do that? It's according to your faith.
Okay, let's go there. Just to encourage you, because I shared before that coming from a background of network marketing, I see that so many times. I love the audacity to see someone's stardom, to see how wonderful they're doing. And then so many times we call these people coaches and mentors. First of all, are they even compatible? We can't
come on.
Because they make a lot of money, because they wear Gucci, because they wear Fendi, because they drive fast cars, But at the end of the day, I look at these individuals and I say, but you're brilliant yourself.
Yes.
And I wonder why why you haven't developed to the next level, or you haven't attracted your new client or attracted the people for you that's supposed to grow with you, because you have not become who you're supposed to be. We're so busy becoming everybody else.
Come on.
See, there's nothing wrong with having people that we admire.
Yeah.
They were there only for a set time to be an example. But after a while, you are required to become who God said about you. He didn't say, Bianca, you are Shadana. Go be like Shadana. He said, I foreknew you. I know I foreknew you. And therefore, what was placed inside of her. So I often see my dear sisters that I love, and I say, but do you know how brilliant you are?
Yeah.
And the moment you begin to rise up in who you are, then you start attracting, because you have been acting like who you're supposed to be.
Come on.
If you're not acting, you're not attracting.
Come on. And that's so good right there. Who you are, you attract.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are attracting things and people that you want, check yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are a magnet to you.
Yeah. You're either attracting who you are or who you're not.
Correct. Yes.
So sometimes when I say, Lord, how did I get hooked up with this person?
Mm-hmm.
Because then I have to look at myself and see if there was some undeveloped. But sometimes we've been called to be a help. So being able to identify which are the two things that need to be identified also helps. Is am I attracting, or am I developed enough to be able to receive someone that comes into my life to be a blessing? That is what I hope for everybody that's listening today, that you will be encouraged to overcome your fears. But again, like Natasha said, is that there's no perfect time. No perfect time will ever. Every day that you say I'll do it tomorrow is a year.
Come on.
Last and evil go days. We're not going to even go there. And so you just have to just wake up and say, oh my God, I'm just going to do exactly the way God showed it to me.
Praise.
And that's the thing about it. I'm not smart enough to be who I am. These are all the things that God placed inside of me. So why are you thinking that no, that is what God is demanding back from you. Your gift is what you do with it.
Correct.
You won't give, so you don't want to be a gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the Bible tells us, be not hidden under a bushel. You are a light. And you are good enough, you're smart enough, you're educated enough. I love sharing with people. I got married at 17. I'm still married 28 years later. I love sharing with people. I got a GED. I love sharing with people that. So I can then follow. But let me tell you what the Lord did then. I've owned several homes. I've had over 40 cars. None of them have been repoed. None of them have been taken away. Had I led with the fact that I have a GED and put my confidence in a GED, I put the confidence in who God created me, and that's how I became and I got. You cannot become without begotten. I don't even know what that means, but it means something, because the Bible said it was a whole lot. But that's what happens when you stop being afraid.
Yeah.
And
when you stop being afraid.
What you're doing about it, it's time. We're waiting on you. People are dying all around you. Something you didn't say, something you didn't do, something you didn't sow, but it's time to be free.
Yes.
Time.
Come on, baby.
If I may, it is so time for you to be free. And one of the things I even noticed with my clients were with people I'm looking to work with and push and branding, and I can see it in the spiritual realm, but they're still like, I don't know. And it's not necessarily the people. It's not the opportunity. It's not the place. It's me. I'm not sure if I'm ready. And so even when you all were talking about, and you were saying, even if you don't believe it, declare it. And you all started talking about faith. God is the author and finisher of our faith.
Yes.
Faith doesn't even come from us. It's not conceitedness. It's not something I created within myself, because they say fake it till you make it. Well, I'm not faking it till I'm making it. I'm getting it from God because he paid the price, and I'm going to have faith in his word about who I am before I even worry about what you see right now, before I even worry about the situation, before I even worry about the problems I'm having. Because here's the deal. Nobody who's ever made it to the place that God has called them to go ever made it on them knowing that they can do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's someone who's operating right now and they know they got it on lock, or they think they got it on lock, they're probably operating in narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the most part, most people that I've seen who have operated humbly doesn't mean you're operating insecurely and not out of false humility, but with the true humility of God, to know that I can do because he says that I can, and it is in him that I move, that I live, that I breathe, that I have my being. This is my being. The personality I have, this is my being. The way that I'm speaking, the skills that I have, the gifts that I have, the gifts that I give, the way I brand, the way I design, the way all of these things are my being. My being is in God. Therefore, I can be who God says I can be. Therefore, I don't have to push back. I don't have to move back. I don't have to dummy down. I don't have to run and hide, because I owe it to God to be who he says that I am. And I owe it to God to have faith in his word alone and say that I can walk this out. I can become who he says I can become. I can say what he says I can say, and I can write the books he says I can write. So it is in the being, it's in knowing that God has put you here to be his being. Every single person, this is why I love branding, because every single person has a piece of God that we can see nowhere else in the earth. There's an expression of God that's flowing through you right now. And if you just think about the expression other than just, well, are they going to receive me? Don't worry about them receiving you, because your tribe is going to receive you. You are assigned to a different tribe, just like the 12 spies of Israel. All of them came from a different tribe. All of them were leaders, even though some were scared and then some had courage. All of us are giving a different expression of God. And if you would only have faith to be that expression in the earth will yield what the Lord says is yours.
Come on.
Glory.
Come on. You said God is the author and finisher of our faith, right? We all know that, right? But here is the thing. Some of us have become comfortable with that. Let's now rightly divide what that is saying. God is the author, meaning he wrote the vision and gave it to you. Then it goes further and says he's the finisher. You are not the finisher. He's the finisher. All God needs from you is your obedience. That's it. God is the author and the finisher of our faith. If you would simply obey, one of my declarations is I obey God on demand. On demand. And then be you to God to be who he said I am. We're around here being who our mama told us to be, our daddy told us to be, our environment told us to be. Well, what did God say?
Yes.
Who did he tell you to be? Who has he called you to be in the earth? You owe it to God. It is your reasonable service.
Yes. You said something of be open to your obedience. And I was just trying to add, and sometimes what our emotions told us to be. But today you have to say yes to you. I was having the conversation earlier, just passing on social media, that, hey, I'm tired of raising adults.
I saw that.
Right. I didn't know what to say.
Right. And, they're not used to Shadonna coming through that door. Right. And, there was a lot of great answers, no wrong answers, but spiritually people kept coming and saying the right thing without turning it over to Jesus. And there are some things that we make so spiritual. Bible tells us that we're no earthly good.
Yeah. Come on.
You always need Jesus 1000% of the time. That's not what I'm saying. Sometimes the answer simply is development.
Development.
Sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes you just need to say yes to yourself. Sometimes you just need to stop apologizing for who you are. Stop apologizing for what you did yesterday. Stop apologizing for what people did to you. It happened. But now you have to say yes to today. And, a lot of times we say, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to, that's one thing that we objectively want to put out there is, what will you do tomorrow?
Yeah.
But guess what? Tomorrow is in less than 5 hours.
Yes.
You don't need that vision, that you don't need a full plan in front of you. You need a foot in front of the other one.
Come on.
And B said it earlier, which is really a prophetic release of instructions. Many of you have been like, today, God, I need instructions what to do with this. Your instructions is to obey.
Yeah, literally. It's that simple.
Is to move.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be a big movement. You need to do something about what God has said over your life, because again, we are waiting on you. And we know that you can do it. How do we know? Because God made you and you are made in his image. God is all in your DNA. And because his DNA can't be described, you cannot be like her, him, they, it, was, shoulda, beenna, coulda, woulda. We can't do these things anymore.
Yeah.
You have to come out of soaking of what the members did.
Mm-hmm.
What the partners did, what the sisters did. Yes, they did it. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to counteract with movement? Woman, arise. Because you're more than capable. You have everything that you need. You don't need another degree. Go ahead and get your degree.
Come on.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you don't need another degree.
It all requires the same action.
Yeah.
It all requires participation.
Yes. Some of that is a comfort zone. Like some people just love school, right? And so it's comfortable for them to do that. But begin to do what God has called you to do in this moment. Now, guys, we can go on and on. I just realized we've been on a little bit over an hour already. It does not seem that long. And so we want to be respectful of your time. We have decided just like that, to make this a 3-part series. So we'll be back again this Tuesday coming at 6:30 on one of our pages. 2 more times. The next time we'll be talking about be bold and be you. We've kind of shared about those 3 here, but we were more intentional. There's that word, intentional, about being free, because we can't get all of what we need out in one session. And we know that it is the end of the day that you guys need to begin to prepare. You need to begin to disciple your discipline for the day that you are declaring tonight. Remember that? So we don't want to, keep you much longer, but we do want to answer some questions, maybe 3 questions, right? We'll answer them, together, or whomever has the answer. And then we'll be back here next week, Tuesday at 6:30, same time, talking about the other 2 areas. But ultimately, it's all about us arising in every area of our lives. So we're opening up now for questions and answers. Again, we want to give you guys real-time answers. We are here to help you go from one level of glory to another level of glory. That's Bible. That's the promise. He says we go from glory to glory, to grace to grace. And so let's do that now. Let's do that today. What is one thing that's holding you back from being free? That I'm not completely free in this area. Or guess what? You may have been free in the area before, and you're like, what happened? Let's deal with it so that you can begin to be in perfect alignment. I like to call it like this: divine alignment with God's alignment. What's one area that you can be better in that's holding you back specifically from doing the things that God has called you to do? And so there's always a little delay with the questions coming through. So I'm going to allow you guys to share any parting words with the women that are arising. B, or I think Shadon shared last. So B, you go ahead and share yours.
Well,
I think she's frozen. So you go ahead, Shadon. She'll come back.
Well, I just really wanted to just continue to stay in the vein of encouragement. I know that we went hard.
Yeah. We went hard in the paint.
Just to remind you that where you are is not where you're always going to be.
Yeah.
Where you are is necessary in order to become. How long you stay where you are is in the decision that you make. to be the things that we're saying today, which ultimately is to be free.
I love that.
You know, there's a lot of things that you know, to complete the work is by being present, by discipline, by having action that will contribute to your next level. But the thing is, I'm going to say congratulations on accepting who you are.
Come on.
Congratulations, there is a body of people who have no problem with you being imperfect.
Yeah.
Who have no problem with accepting that you are a person just like us.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. We all have moments that we need pit stops, but it doesn't change who you're purposely and how powerful you are.
Mm-mm.
So please do not let what people have said and what people have done and the hurt and the disappointment stop you. I think about some of the people that I have loved the most, I lost along the journey, whether it was something that I personally have done that I didn't intend to do, or something that life happened, or for them as well, something they may have done or life happened and they're no longer there. But these are people that ultimately are missing in action. They're MIA.
Yeah.
They have all the weapons of warfare, but also the weapons of manifestation for us. I plead with that woman today that there are women who out here who authentically need who you are.
Yeah.
And stop apologizing, because you were made perfectly in the image of God. God, he said, I will give you beauty for ashes. The tears that you cry tonight, let them be tears of healing. Be encouraged that now you'll be able to pass this torch unto your daughters, unto your sons, unto your partners. But the next level will not come until you accept to apologize. Sometimes you have to accept the apology you never got. And sometimes you just have to forgive yourself for who you had to become in order to survive.
Amen. I love that. And so we got questions coming through. So I want to make sure we address them. And then I'm going to circle back to you because I definitely I want you to share your impartation before we're finished. And so Marissa says, one of the areas that she knows that she needs to grow and develop in is fear of failure and procrastination. So who wants to take that on?
That's you.
I'll take the procrastination. She take the fear.
All right. I love it. I love it. And so here's the thing about fear, Marissa, and I pray that I'm saying your name correctly. If not, DM me because I love to get people's name correct. And so here's the thing with fear. It's real, right? People say that fear is false evidence appearing real. It's not. If it's real to you, it's real because the mind doesn't know the difference of real life or Memorex. And so here is how you deal with fear. Allow it to fuel you and not cripple you. And so if fear ever shows up, even make an attempt to show up in my life, I'm jumping all the way in because it's a fueling and not a fearing. I ain't, and I'm using that word intentional, I ain't scared of anything but God. And that's a reverence of the fear of the Lord. Listen, if God gave it to me, it's enough. And so I tell you that, Marissa, if God gave it to you, it's enough. Guess what? You're already doing good where you are. And so if you step into what God has told you to do, you'll be further than where you are. And let's just say so happen you're already where you are. So it doesn't make a big difference. You see what I'm saying? And so face fear, which I call Goliath. Whatever the Goliath is in your life, face that head on and let it know where to go beneath your feet. That's how you address fear. Allow it to fuel you and not scare you.
And to encourage you, fear, the difference between someone who have accomplished something that you may want to accomplish and those who have not is what they have done. So my sister hit it right on the head. It's not deep. It's repetitive. Yeah. Success is those things that we do day in and day out.
Yeah.
Well, the fear is an action that you have to take place every single day. And then ultimately it goes from becoming from just a habit to a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Your life is a result of your beliefs. Your life is a result of what you have done over and over again. That means you're going to fail so many times. Congratulations. That's better than doing nothing. They say the grave is the worst place on earth because people died with their potential.
Yep.
What I would like to remind you with the spirit of procrastination is the thief of time.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yep.
once again, is the result of those who have manifested where they want to be or where they're going, or a measure of it is they have understood that you cannot build something without first having a ground floor. So if you think about a house that you want to live in, you start off with digging it all up. Today we're digging it up.
Yeah, that's it.
We're moving it all over. We're reconstructing, moving it all out the way so God can come in and lay a firm foundation. This is what I've said about you. How do you know? Because he keeps saying it. It's haunting you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So procrastination is a thief of belief also.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe God.
Yeah.
You may not believe yourself, but you're telling me now you don't believe God.
Yeah.
So what you have to, again, how you deal with procrastination is to deal with fear.
I love that. And the root of procrastination, you know, I'm thinking I'm over here. I'm like, this is over here. But the root of procrastination is perfection paralysis. Right? And so how you handle perfection paralysis is execute and then course correct as you go. That's what they're doing with these smartphones. It's a bunch of course corrections. And guess what? We stand in line for the course correction. The same
everything in beta mode.
Yeah.
Everything in beta. Your life is in beta mode, baby.
Right.
You'll never reach that point.
Exactly.
If I get real close, both of these eyelashes ain't on right. One I'm going high, one I'm going low. But baby, I had to show up anyway. And so anyway.
Course correct, execute and course correct, because you're always going to be correcting as you go. I love that. I love that. And so Yashika said one of the areas where she needs to, you know, grow and develop in is worrying if I'll make a mistake or be judged by social media is a difficult platform. And so I'm going to answer that quickly, and then I want you guys to answer that. Guess what? Yes and yes. You will be judged, right? And you will make a mistake. So what? Do it again, and then do it again, and do it again. It's through and by your consistency that you'll find your rhythm, right? And even in those mistakes, even in that judgment, it will be a blessing to others. So here's the thing. Face the fear of making a mistake, because you will. That's how you face it. Yes, I'll make a mistake. Face the fear of being judged, because you will, but keep it moving. So what? Your rhythm will come as you go and grow.
That's it. And that's actually the perfect answer, because when I'm working with clients, or even just in general, if someone is judging you, then that means at some point you've become an influencer in their life.
Come on.
When you are creating a platform, now let's go into branding, let's go into marketing. When you are creating a platform, especially if it's a platform that God called you to build, when you are creating that, it is your responsibility to stick to your guns, also shift some things. When you are creating a platform, you're creating it on a certain thing, a certain niche, a certain point. It's a certain thing. Everybody is not going to like that thing. And it's your responsibility to be able to stand up to that thing and say, but this is what I created. But this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But this is how I flow. There are some influencers that take pictures all day, and there are millions of people who hate them. Don't know why they hate them. They just hate them because they cute. They just hate them because they show not. They just hate them because they went on vacation. But so what? God called them to do that. And guess what? It's their responsibility to do that. People judging you doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It actually probably means that you're doing something right.
Come on.
You got the first thing right, showing up. The second thing is finding your tribe and being available for them.
Yeah.
If it's not a member of your tribe, and if it is not someone that you are called to, you can't worry about the tone of people. People will inbox you all the time, because as you actually grow, people are looking at you. Some people are spectating, and then some people are getting from you. Some people are getting the pour into them from your platform. You have to know the difference. But it's okay. Just keep going. And everything is in beta, as Coach Shadana said.
I love that.
It's in beta.
Yeah.
That's what the t-shirt says.
She opposed something that many of us as entrepreneurs or influencers, whether they're the same, just depend on how you get paid.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes people just want to get paid in likes. You know, I prefer money because I want to build a bigger platform. And
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to build anything. Okay, let me get back on subject. But social media, she said something that a lot of us struggle. Social media is a difficult platform.
Yeah.
This is not going to be prophetically deep, but we do need to start mastering social media platforms because we are in a not new e-world, but a developing and not going away e-world.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to change your your perception that it is difficult. What you need to do, the formula is do what's doable for you.
Come on. That's
Thank
good.
God for the delete button. Now, most influencers will tell you don't delete it, leave it there. Because again, it is true that the people that are looking for you, they're looking for you. They don't want you to be perfect. They want you to be real. Me, on the other hand, I do what's doable for me. So if I have a problem that I have not developed in seeing myself in that, I'm going to delete it, baby. The key thing here is to do what's doable for you instead of not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
So again, social media, you're going to have to fail every day. I put statuses probably up several times a week. God tell me to take it down. And there are people who inbox me, take it down. I have accountability partners.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's what has to happen is you have to do something. And because that's the only way you're going to be able to develop that experience in that world. And as you develop, you start to be able to understand the language of how your people respond. Like one thing I know about my status is I have thousands of entrepreneurs on my platform. But I get the most interaction from my "Thus said the Lord" posts, speaking over posts, all spiritual posts. Why is that? Because people have learned that's what they love to feed off from me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never learned that by copying somebody else's status that wrote something inspirational, prophetic. I only learned it when I realized that God was using the prophetic to operate through me. So every day I would have to do that on my own platform to find out I don't need to become, there we go again, someone else. I simply needed to be who I was and then see how my audience will respond to that.
Yeah.
So the advice, be who you are.
I love that. Yeah. Be you. Right. We're going to be talking about this and that in the series. I love it. And guess what? Unapologetically, like literally. And so Shamika says, not feeling qualified, sitting with great people. Listen, I love that question because that can be intimidating, especially when you are developing in your gifts, when you're moving in the calling, when you get in front of people that you feel like are experts, it can become intimidated. Don't. It's a choice, right? The scripture comes to mind when it talks about your heart being troubled. The word of God says, don't let your heart be troubled. And so don't allow yourself to become intimidated when you're sitting with great people or experts, if you will, right? Because here's the thing, you're great too, right? I am often in spaces with PhDs and MDs, and I am neither. However, I belong there and they know it.
And you belong there. You belong there.
Yeah.
Over the past 3-4 years, I work with a lot of multimillionaires.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to say yes. And I'm telling you, every time I'm at the table or in the room with them, I feel the pressure like this is a lot. And I don't feel like I can feel the shoes.
Yeah.
But then I get that phone call. Can you open this for me? Can you do this for me? Can you speak for me? And then people say, well, how did she get that position? Because I showed up feeling unqualified, my sister. I would say if I can encourage you, show up just like you are, but do something while you're showing up. Don't just take notes. Show up, be there, perform. Give your best, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to develop you into becoming to those people that you have been attracted to because you are that person. You are good enough. You're overqualified.
Yeah. And the invitation is validation. And so if they're calling and looking for you, it's enough. You belong there. And so it's standing in your brilliance. Remember my shirt, for those of y'all just coming in, brilliant, the only be I'll be, literally, right? And so standing in your brilliance that God himself deposited and imparted it before you were formed in your mother's womb. What does that mean? That means he knew that you would be among great people. He knew that you will be among experts. And guess what? So are you in this season, in this moment. And so stand in your brilliance. Now, here's the thing also, Sharmika, is that you do have to prepare. You do have to plan. You do have to develop, right? Oftentimes people try to go off the cuff. No, you need to prepare. You need to develop. You need to learn the language. You need to learn whatever it is that you're in so that you can stand unapologetic.
You're gonna faint so much.
That's it.
I know they was waiting on something really deep, but no, you're gonna faint all through the process. But the getting up, watch every time you get back up stronger. What is the saying out there? You fall 9 times, but you got up 10.
Listen, and if I may add this, even when you're talking about sitting at the table with great people or being around the experts, if we look at it in technology, the experts that were 20 years ago maybe are not the same experts today.
Yes.
And even when they're talking about preparing yourself and being ready to sit at the table, if you get the information, then, or if you get the invitation, she is right. That's God saying, and that's them saying, we see you as the expert already. So all we need you to do is talk and be ready on your end. But experts change over and over and over and over and over. So today, maybe God has crowned you as the expert.
Yes.
Correct. I love it, love it, love it, love it, guys. And so your questions were absolutely amazing. Your engagement was outstanding, right? We're here to have a conversation. We want to hear from you guys as well. And you have did that tonight. We absolutely honor you. We honor your time. We honor your presence. We honor your gifts because they are necessary in the earth, in this time, in this season, in this decade. I remember God telling me in 2020 that this would be the year. And then he went on and said the decade, and then went on and said the century of never befores. Have we had multiple never befores already? And so you are a part of the never befores. Be bold, be free, be you. Join us right here next week, 6:30, and we'll be sharing in detail about those topics. Be amazing, guys. Why? Because you can. God's peace.
God bless you.